Hello Source Gamers, and welcome to episode 2 of Straight from the Source, our revamped interview series, where we speak with key figures in the gaming industry on their history and key topics from across the whole spectrum of video games. In this episode, I, NantenJex, had the pleasure of interviewing Mark Lentz, Head of Business Development at Chuhai Labs. Chuhai Labs is a Kyoto, Japan-based indie studio set up by Giles Goddard, one of the few foreigners to work directly at Nintendo, and responsible for games like the original Star Fox, 1080 Snowboarding, and Steel Diver. Giles left Nintendo and set up Vitae, his own game studio that worked closely with Nintendo throughout the noughts and early 2010s. Following this, an experimental team called the Vitae Backroom was set up to make independent and unique video games, and this eventually rebranded as Chuhai Labs. In this interview, I sat down and spoke with Mark all about this rebrand, as well as the company's unique approach to marketing, the influence of Nintendo's philosophy on their games, and the importance of supporting the independent video games sector. We're going to start with a little warm-up question. If you could pick any character to be playable in the next Super Smash Bros., who would it be? And you can't pick a character owned by Chuhai Labs, that would be too easy.
I can't pick somebody owned by Chuhai Labs? No. Actually, okay, so I did read your questions, and I'll tell you, this is the one that I thought about.
Okay.
All right, I would, if I was to pick one character for Super Smash Bros. To come back, it would be Wart from Super Mario 2, because Super Mario 2 is the best of the Marios, and Wart needs some love, alright?
It was shortly after you joined Vitae Backroom that it rebranded into Chuhai Labs. Could you explain the reasoning behind the rebranding?
When I joined Vitae Backroom, that was back in early 2020, in January of 2020, and Vitae Backroom had been a company for several years, but mostly been focusing on like contract work for companies like Capcom or Universal Studios, and unfortunately you can't really say the games you've been working on. And as I joined, we had this opportunity to start releasing our own titles, and I thought, hey, why don't we rebrand? Because this is this great opportunity where no one really knows the name Vitae Backroom. Maybe we could start over and seem more exciting. I don't want to seem cynical or something, but we had this great chance to just really rebrand. And we picked the name Chuhai because not everyone knows what it is, but it is a fun drink. Grandpas drink it. And we all drink it at the studio. It was just kind of like a fun celebration kind of drink. That's why we went with that.
Is that like the house drink?
It is the house drink, yeah. We drink them every Friday. Come to Chuhai Labs any Friday. You're welcome.
You first came to Japan in 2017. Did you come here intending to find a job, or did it just end up happening?
So I came to Bit Summit in 2016 with the full intent of trying to get a job in Kyoto.
Okay.
I had met several people. Met some people from 17-bit. I had met people from Q Games. I had met people from here in Vitae Backroom, and I just decided I loved them. And when I came over in 2016, I came with I'm in a band called Nice Legs, and I came with them. And we ingratiated ourselves with Dylan Cuthbert, an amazing human, and he really liked our music. And he was like, "Hey," 3 months later, he sent me an email and just said, "Hey, have you ever thought about moving out to Kyoto?" Right? As a matter of fact,
mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Would you say there are any advantages to being based in Kyoto?
Okay. Are there advantages to living in Kyoto? Absolutely. and oddly enough, being next to Nintendo, not as big of one as you might think. I would hope so. I would love to knock on Nintendo and be like, "What's up?" No, but one of the huge advantages is people from around the world come to us. And because everyone loves video games, and everyone loves Kyoto, and everyone loves Japan, so naturally we get to meet so many more people than someone. So I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I can't imagine I'm going to meet all these developers in Little Rock, Arkansas. So there's a tremendous advantage, you know.
Despite being based in Kyoto, Chuhai Labs has a team mostly comprised of foreigners. Is this just a coincidence, or would you say it is the result of a snowball effect?
Yeah, certainly a snowball effect. There's like all of us here. Yeah, we have one Japanese national. and the rest are foreign. We all love Japan. We all love Japanese games. We all love Nintendo. It just kind of started with like Giles hired, let's say, a couple of fellow Brits because they could talk about football or some shit, and then it just snowballed because like you meet other talented people from around the world that want to come here.
What's your favorite thing about living here in Kyoto?
So I'm a city boy, and I'll tell you, it's that doesn't sound, no one's a city boy if they say they're a city boy, but I've lived in cities all around the world, really giant places, and I got to tell you, the best thing about Kyoto is it's quiet and everything. You can get on a bike and you can meet any of your friends in 10 minutes. It's just so damn convenient, and convenient to be able to know people, to build a community, and all sorts of things like that. Like, we're a small city, but we punch way above our weight when it comes to game development. So that's the best part. It's just the other game devs.
Chuhai Labs experiments a lot with the platforms it develops for. Your team has made games for PC and consoles, games for VR, and even original games for the Playdate. Could you explain the reasoning behind choosing to cover so much ground, rather than hyper-focusing on one type of platform?
Well, we're not as business savvy as they are. No, like, we're really lucky because our CEO, Giles Goddard, and myself, we both like the idea of tinkering on anything. When the Playdate was announced in 2018, I was already like one of the first people to get my hands on an early unit, even though I'm not a developer. But I knew if I got it in the hands of the right person, they would fall in love with it. And Giles is another person that's just like that. We want to experiment with as many platforms as possible, not because one tech is better or just because the user experience can lend itself to like weird and creative ideas.
Curse to Golf is the biggest launch Chuhai Labs has had so far. What would you say was the biggest factor that led to its success?
That's a really tough question. I've worked on a fair few games now, and this is the first one I can earnestly say I love every part of it. I don't think it's a perfect game, but I do love every part. I think you look at the artwork and it stands out. The music stands out. The gameplay is completely unique. And then we also had a really weird marketing technique that like kind of no one else had done. So I think this is going to sound like a cop-out of an answer, but I think it was a really holistic. It was all of these things coming together simultaneously. That, and we were announced on IGN. Thanks, IGN.
You've made a lot of fun and over-the-top promotional videos for games and events over the years. What went into the decision to make such eccentric promotional videos? So
the eccentricity, I'm not going to say that word. The eccentric part just came naturally. That's who I am, like deep down. But really what happened was we created a video for first party for, I think it was for Microsoft. I don't know. Created this video on how to play the game, and I edited the shit out of it, and I made it really silly, but this was supposed to be a private video. And when we sent that over to Microsoft and to our publisher, they said maybe we should consider using this for marketing. And yeah, it wasn't their idea, but it was they're the ones that gave us the go ahead. And at that point we were all systems go, and we got ourselves into as many videos as possible, and really put the pedal to the metal on that. Just the nonsense, pure nonsense.
Well, it definitely works.
Yeah.
Chuhai Labs was founded by ex-Nintendo Giles Goddard. Nintendo is known for having unique approaches to game development. Would you say some of their design philosophy has influenced the games made by Chuhai Labs through Giles?
Oh, most certainly. Giles grew up, he basically went to Nintendo when he was 19, so the ethos is ingrained in him. And one of the ethos that I've extracted from him basically is fun first. If it's not fun, get it out of here. Like every single thing in any of our games has to be fun, whether it's a jump mechanic or whether it's a UI experience. Like, it has to be fun, and if it's not, you're taking away what the whole reason you're playing games in the first place. And Giles, like, that's a mandate from top to bottom. Like everything has to be as maximum fun. And so yeah, that's probably the biggest influence.
I imagine designing games for the Playdate must be quite unique compared to other platforms, given the crank and all. How does the team approach developing and brainstorming game ideas for such a unique system?
Oh, that's a cool question. So we got our Playdates early before the launch, obviously, because our game Whitewater Wipeout was the launch title. Yeah. But we actually had an in-house pitch jam. We gave every employee 3 days to come up with an idea. Okay. And like what can be the most unique way to use the crank, but also there again, fun. What's the most fun thing we could possibly do? And so we had, I want to say it was 12 pitches, and most of them were really, really awesome. They all were. I'm not talking shit. Most of them were really, really good. But like ultimately it came down to Giles, his game Whitewater Wipeout. It was his pitch. Because he understood right away how do you engage players without even having to explain anything. You turn that game on and they already know what to do. Yeah. Even though it might be difficult, but that's the way he wants all of his games to be, but specifically for the Playdate. Like you have no choice but to use that crank.
It is a difficult game. I suck at it.
I'm terrible at that game. I am so there is a momentum to it that's that you can get down. I will never get it down. All right.
Carve Jr., being a smaller version of Chuhai Labs' Carve game, reminds me of back in the day when developers would make handheld games of their bigger console titles. What considerations had to be made when taking the game design of Carve and putting it on the Playdate?
Oh, that's also, man, these are good questions. So when we came up with, I'm not going to take any credit for the game design on that. But I was the one internally that said, we're going to take all of our games and put the word junior at the back. That was definitely my idea. But, like I internally pitched that game specifically to be a copy of Ski Free for the PC. The shittest game ever. I was like, we have to copy this. And they were like, good idea, but why don't we do it better? Yeah. So I think in that terms, they just looked at like every sort of like top-down snowboarding game they could, and then they decided to make something different anyway. Because there's really no snowboarding game that plays at that angle. It's an odd game, Carve Jr. I'm really proud of that one because all of our wacky ideas made it into it, despite the fact that if you just play it for 10 seconds, you might be like, this is a boring ass game. All right? There's some wacky shit in there. So.
You just gotta keep going.
Yeah, you gotta keep going. Yeah.
Chuhai Labs is quite well known for its support of the indie gaming scene in Kyoto, especially on the social side. Why is this so important for the company?
It's really important because there's a lot of non-traditional people that are super capable in the world that can make something special. I didn't come from a games background. Before this, I was a butcher. Before that, I was a barista. Before that, I had no skills in games, but games are really natural to me. And I think it's really, really important to project that, not in some arrogant way, but to be like, hey, you can too. Come on, let's go. Let's make something special. And that's, like I told you off camera, but we have a party every single Friday because there are plenty of people that want to break into games, and maybe we can't offer you a job, but maybe somebody else at our party can. Yeah. Or maybe you can meet the right person that gives you the right piece of advice, whatever.
Helping people network.
Yeah, exactly. Just facilitate you in some way. If there's anything we can give back, let's at least try. Come on,
Chuhai Labs has done a lot of gaming event coverage recently. You were at WASD in London back in May and Bit Summit Drift in July. What is the reason for supporting events like these as a game developer, especially as Chuhai Labs hasn't been showing off anything new at them, at least in 2024?
It's really important to give props to other developers. It's really important to show that we're in it for them too. We're not in it for them, but we're we want to be as supportive as possible because to not sound cynical or something, but maybe we'll work with them in the future anyway. Like, you never know who you're talking with or working with. So it is really, really important to just be as supportive as humanly possible. Not sure I like that answer, but I'm just trying to say, hey, like, we like games, so why can't we talk about them, okay?
It's true, though. I think it's really good that you guys cover events like this, because obviously the media will go out to these events and only focus on the games at these events. That's what the public wants to see. But as developers, you tend to showcase the events themselves, which is something developers and publishers would be more interested in seeing, as they might be planning to attend them.
No, but like, that's your job as the fourth estate. You know, like, if we're the government and you're the press, like, your job is to look at that way. Our job is to hang out with other developers, and I don't really care about the jump mechanic in their game. I don't, but I care about them as people, and I want to know why they chose that shit. Like, it's just a different way of looking at it, and I think it's really natural. You have to look at it from a very not austere, but a really here's the way a game works, and I don't have to. I can be like, yo, dude, do you want to get a beer? I can film it entirely differently, just find the human level on it,
Thank you for your time, Mark. Any final words you would like to share with our listeners?
Hey, it's been great hanging out with Source Gaming. For all your gaming needs, go there right now, www.source-gaming.com, for all your Source needs, because fucking A, dude. Games rule. They rule. Also, if you're in Kyoto, hit me up. What's up, bro? Thanks so much, man.
Thank you all for watching this episode of Straight from the Source. I want to thank Mark again for giving me the opportunity to interview him and showing me around the Chuhai Labs office. That was really cool. On screen right now are our patrons, the $5 up tier. If you would like to join them, there is a link to the Patreon on screen and in the description down below. We hope you enjoyed this video. There's plenty more interviews to come. And you know what? I think I'll let Mark handle the rest of this outro.
Always remember to return to the source. Source Gaming. I'm Mark Lentz. Peace.